All right, folks, welcome back. There's a very important race that's coming up in California. Well, the race is going on. The election's coming up along with all the midterms. And it involves the Secretary of State out in California. Pete Peterson is running as a Republican. He is also a former public policy fellow at the Hoover Institution. And he joins us. Hello, Pete.
Great to be with you, Steve.
Thank you. Great to have you aboard. All right, so that's got to be a tough road to hoe for a Republican candidate for statewide office in very, very blue, and I mean that in many ways, California.
Yeah, there are definitely challenges here, Steve, but I think there are also tremendous opportunities. You've probably been covering some of the corruption scandals that we've had here in California. And in particular, there have been some serious questions about the performance of this Secretary of State's office. And I think, frankly, that's why we've been able to do very well with editorial boards, even with folks like the LA Times and San Francisco Chronicle. We've earned their endorsements because they see us as a great alternative to the usual suspects.
And that was going to be my next point. Notwithstanding everything I just said, you have done very, very well, and getting that endorsement it was no easy shake. Okay, so you got that background and that backdrop, but nonetheless, it's still California. Talk about what the polls show, and talk about where you stand right now.
So we've had two polls that have come out in the last month. One has us up by 3 and another has us down by about 5. So just even splitting that difference, I think most of the pundits out here are saying that this stands to be the closest of the statewide races. There's no incumbent in this race, and so there are, again, unique opportunities for an outsider to win.
All right, so in addition to the corruption issue, which is a big issue, there's so many stories I could pull from. Why are California's businesses disappearing? Small business. You have a plan. I mean, you have a documented game plan for keeping and bringing back business to California.
Yeah, the Secretary of State out here is uniquely positioned at the beginning and the end of the business cycle because, you have to register your business with the Secretary of State, and you also have to file what's called your papers of dissolution when you decide to leave the state. And one of the things I'm recommending is the Secretary of State really should be exit interviewing businesses as they leave. You've probably heard the stories of so many of the large businesses like Toyota recently, Nestle, and others have made the decision to move out of California. But frankly, Steve, the thing I'm most concerned about as I get around the state is the number of small businesses that are deciding to leave the state or to grow outside the state. And I think the Secretary of State ought to be gathering data and surveying businesses to provide and tell what I'm calling some inconvenient truths about the business climate here.
And of course, tax is one of the main impediments,
California
correct?
charges something called the business franchise tax. It's $800 a year. It doesn't matter. It's regardless of whatever your revenues are. And it's a check that's written to the Secretary of State's office. So I've pledged to fight to reduce that from $800 down to $100 to at least make us competitive with other states that we're supposedly competing against. It's an annual tax, and it falls most heavily
on small businesses. All right, let me ask, we have about a minute and a half left. You've not made an issue of, and I don't know that you even agree with, the states and the Republican effort to institute voter ID. Doesn't that speak to the integrity, though, of all of our elections?
Well, I am definitely concerned and focused on maintaining and growing the integrity of our ballot box. My point has always been that California actually has greater issues to deal with as it relates to ballot integrity. And in particular, California is the last state in America to be outside of the federal mandate in that we don't have a statewide voter database. This is something that's really my top priority as the next Secretary of State, to oversee the transition from our county by county voter rolls to move to a statewide voter database. And in that, I think we can dramatically improve not only our outreach to new voters, but the integrity of our ballot.
All right. Well, Pete, listen, good luck to you. And hopefully the day after the election, we'll be speaking to the Secretary of State-elect of the state of California.
I look forward to it, Steve. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Pete Peterson, ladies and gentlemen. Check him out. And if you're in California, check him out even more. He is running to be your Secretary of State. When we come back, it's that time of day again We'll check in with Rob Williams, Newsmax Money News Deputy Financial Editor. We'll see how the markets did, and more importantly, we'll get Rob's take on why they did what they did. Don't go away.